Hey, Brian here. I just went out for a ride on my Surron. It's been warm, but I just haven't been getting up in the day and riding. Just been other things, reptiles, and staying busy and work. But I recently got, if you haven't watched previous videos, I got the KO Moto RS motor, which is the lower line motor per se. They have the more expensive, maybe 2 or 3 models, up in the chain from that. But I've got that. I updated that. And if you watch a previous video, you'll see why I was kind of forced into buying a new motor. Also, too, I got the KO Moto Nano controller, which blends in perfectly with the KO motor. And also, too, I also at the similar time I got the I got to remember what it's called, the Race Tech heavy duty plastic skid plate. Again, that had to do kind of with my motor. Why I had to get a new motor, and again, previous video, so I had to replace the metal one, the thin one, with that, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy, and that's why I'm making this video. It's for the KO motor and the Nano controller. I'm really blown away with the motor and the controller. And I rode 2 years on the factory battery and the factory motor. I still got the factory battery in here, but I had the factory motor, and I rode it for 2 years. And so, I mean, every day, there were some days I didn't ride, but I rode all the time. I put about 2,000 miles on my bike in that 2 years. Just riding around. I didn't ride extra long distances and do that over and over and over. So that's a lot of miles just running around in the neighborhood. And I can honestly say how pumped I am with this new controller and the new motor. Obviously, they're working together really well, and I love the app. The app in the phone where you can tune that. That is a must-have, and that's really one of the main reasons why I went with KO Moto. I'm sure there's others that have the app too, but this was the easiest to get, and and had that app opportunity. I didn't want to have to go get a custom tune or have to rely on someone else to tune it, even though that I could probably tune it. I just don't have the software and a PC laptop to tune, and that's usually what you need to tune stuff these days. Or in the past 10 years, a PC laptop, and I hate PC laptops. Hate PC computers, period. The end. But amazing. I mean, let me just show you real quick a few things, what I like about it. And first of all is how smooth it is. And there's a little bit of tuning in that, and in a previous video, I went over my settings and how I tuned it, but it's so freaking smooth. I mean, at the crack of the throttle, how I have it set up, I mean, you can crawl this thing as slow as a snail, and it's as smooth as can be. And then as you go, it ramps up really smooth. It's totally blows. I mean, just freaking blows out of the water the stock motor and the stock controller with no tunability and how that was set up. I mean, I'm a budget-minded person. I do not like to spend a lot of money on things, but I do spend money to get on nicer things, and I am 110% stoked with having to spend the $1,600. I think that's what it was for the Nano controller and the RS motor, the KO Moto motor and controller. And that's a lot of money for me to spend, and I am totally, if you ask me if I do it again and again and again, I do it hands over again and again. So I don't know, the people that love to badmouth KO, I don't understand why. I get some people that chime in on my videos just like, you made a horrible decision, or you just got taken, you're a sucker, you're a dumbass, everything. It's like, that's the worst product ever. And I don't get it. Oh, it's a far driver, you fool. It's a far driver. Far driver. I mean, it doesn't even look like a far driver. And as far as internal parts go, a lot of the internal parts of a controller are very similar because they all come from China. And it's kind of how just the basis of putting everything together and making sure they work well together, and putting higher level components in there so that they don't get hot and they don't wear out, and they can handle the power level. And again, I am running the stock battery, so I cannot even begin to fathom what it'll be like with an upgraded 72 volt battery. You know, probably very similar to capacity or the size of the stock one. I don't want to spend $2,200 on a battery. I'm going to wait till battery technology catches up, and you know, some of these lesser expensive batteries come out that are better, and you know, maybe, you know, next year maybe they'll have some of this new battery technology out, and batteries will be, you know, $1,400, $1,500 for a really kick-ass battery. And that's what I'm waiting for. But let me just reiterate, this is faster, way better than my factory Surron. Way better performance, way better acceleration. My eco mode that I have set up actually works. I cannot tell you how pitiful my eco mode was on the factory. I mean, I never ran it. It didn't function well. The bike didn't run right. It cut out. It was real choppy. It was miserable. I mean, I never used it in 2 years. It was the worst thing. It was like being on a jerky, you know, it was just terrible. And now I've got my sport set up in my eco mode. And the downside, let me just reiterate, the downside of getting the motor and the battery is you run through battery faster. It's just got more output. It's just everywhere. More pull, more top end, more mid range. You know, low end is you know, more, but it's not as drastic on the low end. And you know, that's probably a good thing because it just wheelie out from under you. But so I'll put it on eco mode when I'm just cruising down the street, you know, 3-mile ride, you know, and just not to burn through my batteries quick, because I'm estimating it probably cuts out about 20% of my battery more than me riding on the factory setup. You know, if I was just riding all day long, you know, about 15-20%, you know, I'm just kind of estimating, you know, off the top of my head, that the reduced battery power, because it's just got more output. It's that much more badass just with the controller and the motor. And let me just show you real quick one thing real fast. And I don't know, other bikes do this too with other controllers and other motor setups. So let me just move my camera back over here. Let me turn on my key. My dog's kind of freaking out because the weather is really questionable right now, and my dog hates bad weather, so she's up, she's really antsy. Let me just show you, like, if I just barely crack the throttle, man, this thing will just it's so gentle. I mean, you can get the wheel spinning at like probably 0.03 of a mile per hour and hold it there, and it's very easy to do. You know, I don't know why you need to do that. I'm kind of a 450 motocross guy where when you hit the throttle, I mean, I want to feel some freaking bark, and I want to wheelie. I mean, I want the bike to almost take out from under me. Except if you're racing, that's not necessarily good because you get worn out so quickly. And this is just really, really cool, man. And I just wanted to bring this video because there are a lot of, I mean, it seems like there's more people that want to hate on KO Moto than there are people that are interested in actually buying a good product. Now, this is not a long-term review. I've had this maybe for 3 weeks and ridden it, you know, 10, 15 times. And it just, I get off and I have just a huge, huge smile on my face. It really is phenomenal, phenomenal package. And I'm just really happy, and I want to bring this video to people. If you're on the fence of buying, you know, I know there's a lot of controllers coming out now and motor combinations, but this was really kind of simple to put together, and it just works really, really well. And the app is just, I pull it up on my phone, it automatically connects as long as my key is on in the ignition. It's so simple and so nice to have. So I'm sure I'll get a couple people that are like, "You're still a fool for buying KO. That's a terrible company." You know, I just don't know. I just don't get why people hate certain things and act the way they do on other people's videos. They're just trying to bring content and have fun and do that kind of stuff. But again, if you're looking at this motor and controller setup, freaking amazing. Plus, I like the skid plate. I've got the 52 Warp 9, 54 tooth rear sprocket. I'm sure that helps a little bit. And I want to talk to you just about one more thing that just blows my mind. All right, the next thing I want to share with you that is just so great is this Rippin' Moto. I know there's some other companies that offer this. This is probably just a generic brand that most of these companies are getting these from, but this was just the company that had this out. Really, it was easily to be seen by me and maybe one of the more first to be out. It's a 250 millimeter floating rotor on the front, and most of them are 220 millimeter. This is 250 millimeter, and I just want to share with you how badass this is. And I'm really appreciating the extra stopping power of this brake. It's not necessarily just that the braking power is just that much more aggressive. It's just the modulation. When you hit it, it just modulates easier. It's easier to pull it in and kind of have control. And if you really want to get on it quickly right there, I mean, it's a phenomenal package. And this is, I need to reiterate, because a lot of people aren't going to know this. This is 2.3 millimeters, I think, width-wise, versus the stock that's 2.0. And some companies are offering this a version, 220 or 240, diameter, offering it in 2.5 width. And I was thinking, a little bit wider is always better because it just makes it more durable. It's not as easy to bend, and it also adds a little bit different feel up at the levers on the bars. And one thing that I thought about was 2.5. I don't have a lot of gap between my pads, and where this 2.3 millimeter fits just almost flush with my pads. And so 2.5 millimeters, it would be rubbing a lot. And I expanded my brake pads when I know all about this, disc brakes and adding pads and performance rotors. I had extra large rotors on my dirt bikes, my 250F, and different motocross bikes. And I understand that, and I do the work on the brakes on my car. And so the 2.5 would be overkill as far as fitting into the brake pads into here. They would be rubbing so much on the pads that if I pulled this up off the stand and rotated it, so you can hear these slightly dragging, it's not enough to matter, but 2.5 millimeter would make that wheel, when I spun it, it would come to an immediate stop, just because there's not that much clearance on these factory pads. So that's important to know for you. I think 2.3 is the sweet spot, and that's the width of the rotor, or this braking part that does that, and it gives you an increased feel at the lever. And I'm going to take you up and show you what my stock rear brake feels like in the pool, and this rotor with the little bit wider rotor on it, and you can see the differences when I pull in the front and the back. Okay, this is the rear brake, and this, you see how much when I pull in on it, that's all the way out. But I have them adjusted where I reach real comfortably with my one finger. But you can pull them in and you can see the level of, it starts to bite about right there, and you can see this motion, how much pull there is to get the brakes to really lock up. All right, now we're on the front brake, and this is the 250 millimeter rotor that's 2.3 millimeter wide. See how much now? I mean, just right when you pull in, I can't pull in the lever, almost to the grip. And that's it's such a greater feel. And the distance between where, the brake is being applied is about right there. It starts to bite, and then you just have a little bit more pull. But you have that where you can really pull it in and lock it up if you want, or it's just from this modulating point right here. So look, the distance right here to full brake on. See how the 2.0 millimeter, See how you just pull it in a lot more? There's just more room for the brake pads to squeeze that rotor. And they just don't feel nearly as sharp and as accurate as the larger 250 millimeter rotor that's 2.3 millimeters wide. So hopefully that you learned something there. I mean, this all could just be me and my personal opinion or my personal preference. I don't know. I think I've got a lot to say for people. You know, a lot of history and a lot of background in road bikes and motocross bikes. Working at dealerships for about 10 years. Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, KTM, Sea-Doo, Polaris, all these different manufacturers, and I've ridden a lot of different bikes, and just have experience to share. And that must mean something, hopefully, to somebody. But if you get some good information out of this and you like what you've seen, give me a like. And I'm going to just leave it at that. And have a great day, great night, wherever you are. And check back for more videos on the awesome Surron electric e-bike, dirt bike. Bye-bye.